Chapter 1. Ecce Aurora. Behold the dawn in Latin. How else should a man commence his history but at the dawning of his life? Mine came on a freezing winter's night. What other kind is there in Denmark's winter? When I emerged from the womb of Gitte, the three-fingered, her cries, the first sounds I would have heard as I tumbled into a tiny, dim-lit room crammed with women, most of whom had come from mere curiosity, having heard of the long and difficult birth. Though I knew naught of it at the time, I was a puny infant, as sickly-looking, it was generally agreed, as had been seen in recent memory, and, with the likelihood of my dying within the hour, it was also agreed that a priest should be summoned. But none could be found, or none who was willing to leave his bed and set forth in the cold to bless the bastard child of a lowly servant who was rumoured a whore to boot. Gitte, with the mangled hand and the squinty eye, away with you. Take a lifeless brat beyond the castle walls and dig a pit in the woods. To which I say, a pox on all priests, and in my first act of defiance I confounded them all by bawling throughout the night. Later, on hearing of what had transpired, my mother swore an oath that as long as she breathed, her child would thrive, and more. On his death, he would be buried in sanctified ground alongside men and women of rank, or so she told me when I was grown, and though she was prone to telling untruths when it suited her, I believe that was not one of them. And what, some may ask, of the father of her offspring? Now, there's a question to which I have no ready answer. Not that I didn't wonder who he was, from the time I observed that other children seemed to have one and I didn't, aside from those whose sires had been lost to the misfortunes of war or sickness. I was marked out. That much was clear. The butt of jibes from the rascally boys of the castle and its surrounds, so that from the time I could walk, I had to fight or fall, was I about to say? Well, sometimes there are other choices. This I learned from my very first teacher, the man who saved Gitte and her bastard son from likely starvation, being cast out as they were from the king's protection on account of his queen's displeasure. Gitte, no sooner had she recovered from giving birth, was ordered to take herself across the Sund, quit the realm, and beg succour among the Norwegians who were her forebears.